All right, we're back with episode 3 of the Butler Bombs podcast. We're going to be talking about some showcase stuff today because both you and I have been through it and now we're coaching it. So just want to spit some facts and some knowledge on that part of the baseball journey because, it's for a lot of kids, it's the most, important 1 to 2 years of their life in regards to living up to their dream and playing college ball and maybe more than that. So, what do you think?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Let's do it. So, we'll uh, we'll throw some cool facts out later on in the podcast. It won't be a long one, but um, basically, I just want to talk about the difference in today's world of exposure and actually being recruited. And I feel like so many people either don't know the difference or they get it completely wrong, right? And I'm all up for somebody being positive and trying to chase their dream and the journey, right? But I just feel like nowadays with how people treat it is like, hey, like if I am with a team and I play high school and I go get hitting lessons once a week, like I'm guaranteed to play somewhere, right? And that's just so far from the truth. And you hate to see people go down that road. But like it's harder than ever in 2025 and moving forward. So just want to get on here and kind of give our take because we've been through it and how it was, 10 years ago versus now and what we've seen through coaching.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's two different things, right? And we haven't discussed anything about this yet, but my take on it would be exposure is first, right? You can't get recruited without exposure, like you said, just because you're getting lessons and playing on a decent team or high school team or a rec team, that doesn't mean you're getting exposed,
Right.
right? And you're definitely not getting recruited.
Yeah, and like exposure to me is like the beginning part, like you said, it's step one. And like everybody always talks about like, and I hear it because we coach a 15U team and it's like the beginning of showcase, right? And it's like yes, but no. Like it's actually the beginning of exposure, right? Where you're going to places where they're there, right? But exposure, everybody thinks exposure is good. Exposure can be bad too, right? Like when you get to 15, as a freshman or, going into your sophomore year and especially your junior year, right? Like if you're playing on a showcase team or you're going to camps, like you're getting exposed. They're seeing you, right? It's not really that hard to get seen nowadays, and meaning like get in front of a coach. Um, but when they see you, like first impression is everything. And the more they see you and the more they get accustomed to your tools, your style, whatever it may be, it's hard to change somebody's mind. So like I feel like the act of being ready to go get exposure and get recruited is lost in regards to like, oh, I play baseball, I'm in high school, I play for whichever travel ball organization, I moved to showcase, whatever you want to call it. Like I'm gonna go to UVA this weekend and I'm gonna go to a camp or I'm gonna go play with my team and go play in front of the coach and maybe they'll like me. It's like there's so much more to it than that, and you can be actually hurting yourself rather than helping yourself. Um, but what's your take on kind of exposure? Like what should exposure look like on the player side and like if you're a freshman, sophomore in high school and you're looking to play college ball and you're a good player, what should you be doing?
Yeah, I like your point that exposure can be a good thing or a bad thing, right? I've heard from plenty of college coaches, especially the coaches that coached me in college. Um, they see your Instagram, they see your social media, they talk about that, they look at that, they see your grades. Um, you're being exposed when coaches are talking to your parents. They like to see a good head on your parents' shoulders as well as the guy being recruited, right? So that's the little things that matter. It can go a long way, and that's where it starts, right? And then from that point, any type of exposure. I mean, going to these camps, playing on good showcase teams, playing in good showcase tournaments, that's exposure. right? Just get exposed. After that, coaches will follow you to your high school, to anywhere across the country if they really start to like what they see, right? But you got to set the base for your exposure, and that's like I said, grades, parents, how you act, what are you doing on social media, what are you doing in your free time, who you hanging out with, and then from there we can move on and talk about baseball.
Yeah, so like, and let's move into recruiting. So recruiting, and I want to just touch a little bit of it and then go back to the exposure side because we're talking about more of the younger crew here, right? So like recruiting to me means that you have showcased yourself, whether it's high school, a showcase tournament, a camp, whatever it may be, and somebody actually shows interest in you. Doesn't mean that they sent you an email with 10,000 recipients on it and to come to their camp to pay $500. It means like they've either approached you, and I don't know all the rules. I'm not even going to act like I try to know the rules. I know they're different of when they can talk to, when they can't. But I'm just talking about in general. If they're coming up and talk to you, if they've reached out to your showcase coach, your high school coach, if they've sent you an email that seems super genuine and personal, that's to me being recruited. Like, so out of, ninth and 10th graders, I would say probably 99, I'll say 95% of ninth and 10th graders are not being recruited, right? If you're being recruited as a ninth or 10th grader, you're going to know it. Your coach is going to know it. Everybody that watches baseball is going to know it. You're either more physical, you were just born with stupid talent, right? I've seen it. Or you were just a freak and you worked harder than everybody else 5 mile, right? And most of the time, those players being recruited in ninth and 10th grade are Power Five schools, right? It's rare that, you know, a guy is getting, if they're getting recruited by a mid-major at ninth and 10th grade, they're probably getting recruited by a Power Five, right? And then out of that 95 or out of that 1 to 5% that actually get, um, recruited at the age of 15, 16, 1% of them, right, will actually probably either commit or, pursue that. So like the, the pool is small, right? And so going back to if you're trying to get exposed, right? So if you're not one of those guys, which 99% of players are, right? First and foremost, you've got to hustle on and off the field and you got to carry yourself like an adult, right? It's just too many ways for schools to go out and get players nowadays. And again, it's not even to go get you, it's to even continue to watch you. That's what I mean, right? We're way far away from like actually committing to a school at this point, right? Like I said, unless you're that freak, right? So for them to even like pursue to watch you in the future or even like hear of your name, like you got to hustle on and off the field, hard 90s, carry yourself like an adult, right? And you have to, when I say be projectable, right? When you say projectable, people think like, oh, hit home runs. No, you gotta, your mechanics need to be good, right? Meaning like you got to show that you've got good bat to ball skills, that you can barrel a ball up, even if it's a base hit, like barrel a ball up. They see you got a good swing. You take good at bats, right? You show them that you actually know what you're doing up there, right? You have a clue when you're base running in the field. Do you have a good arm, a projectable arm? Do you have good hands, right? That's it. Like there's nothing more than that, right? The only way you're going to getting the recruited class is if you hit 2 home runs and throw 95. And 99.999% of those kids don't do that, right? So you have to show them that you're capable first, right? And to me, that's what exposure means, right? I mean, are we kind of on the same page there? Like me and you both know guys that have been recruited in ninth and 10th grade. They either are 6'5" and hit a 2-run home run at 15 years old with a wood bat, or they somehow throw 95, right? That's really it. Or they run a
That
6'1", right?
Right, right, and that's you were pretty graceful by saying 1 to 5%. I would say the 0.0001%
Yeah,
um, are the ones that skip the exposure and get recruited, right?
right.
But like you're talking about, I completely agree. That's the base level, right? I've seen it plenty of times. Guys that are average, above average, that have a chance and could easily play at D1 will get an X across their name as soon as they don't hustle the ball out, as soon as they show an attitude, slam a helmet, any of that. They will cross your name off and will not pursue you anymore,
Nope.
right? So the exposure is the base level that allows the coaches to continue to watch you, right?
That's it.
Recruiting is a process.
All right.
Baseball is you bat 300, you're in the Hall of Fame. So if they come to one game and see you strike out 3 times, that is not going to turn them off. What's going to turn them off is if you strike out 3 times, slam your helmet, walk out into the field, carry it onto the field, make an error, right? That's the base level. That's the exposure that we need to build first in order to get to that recruiting part and allow
Right.
coaches to continuously watch you. I mean, probably with you too, coaches have watched me for years trying to
Right.
figure out if I'm good enough, right? I was that
Right.
average player. I wasn't that one game going to the game. Yep, he's got speed, he's got power, he's got hands, he's got an arm. No, I didn't have all of that, right? He had the hustle, he had the drive, he had the attitude. I'm going to continue to watch this guy. I like how this guy plays. Let's see if he
Exactly.
can handle pressure. Let's see if he can handle failure, right? And then you start to succeed. You see the little things that he does, it adds up. He's a good contributor to your team, right? That's how you get recruited.
And like exposure can go all the way until you're 16, 17 year old, right? Exposure is different for everybody, right? When they really start to recruit you is when they start to see traits that can relate or help a college team, right? And sometimes, and what do you hear 99% of coaches say? Then you need to get stronger, right? They're being serious, right? You expose yourself to them. They like your swing, they like your bat the ball, they like how you run balls out, but you're not being recruited yet because you're not strong enough. And some people may say, well, what about being projectable? Well, being projectable, when a college says you're projectable, it means at 16 years old, they can see you hitting in the lineup next year, right? Or tomorrow. That's being projectable, right? Having a good swing and getting 2 hits or even 2 doubles, right? That's not being really projectable, right? Projectable to me is more tool-like, right?
Hmm.
But like a good exposure where they like a kid is like I like his intangibles. I do like some tangibles. I like the outlook, the mechanics, but like right now I couldn't put him on a field. I don't know if I could put him on a field in 2 years because he can't hit the ball, with an exit velo over 80, right? So like there's just so many ways to look at it. But let's finish off this with exposure and then we'll go into recruiting because I know we don't want to be long. But if you're in the exposure phase, whether you're 15 or you're 17, right, and you're not projectable, you're not quite ready to feel like you could play at a college, you're good enough to where you want to go expose yourself so people can see you. What do you need to do? Like, how do you pick a showcase team, right? And what should be your plan with it? Like, how are you going to select one? What's best for that kind of person that's not, really ready? And like, what's their best opportunity to get to college when you're that type of player?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the younger side of that, 14, 15, right, you want to pick a team that can develop you, can show you what it takes to get to the next level, right? Once we start getting older, I would say in order to get that exposure, you need to go to a team that you're going to play on, right? If a college coach is coming and you're sitting on the bench, that's not helping at all, right? They want to see you on the field regardless of how you play. Like we talked about, it's step one is the exposure, being on the field. How do you play? Do you hold your box? Do you dive? Do you run balls out? That's the first thing that catches everybody's attention,
Right.
right? So picking a team, I guess, would depend on the age. Um, Focus on development, focus on those baseline traits that the coaches believe in, that instill in you, right? And then carry that on to a team that you can play on and feel like you're able to expose yourself to the college coaches and show them something that you deserve to be in the lineup freshman year.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like too, it just all depends on the person and it depends on your high school because me and you we're not used to we were not used to because we both played at the same high school, Western Branch. Like our development, we were getting our development there, and we got development before that too. But like we were in a college program already, right? So we didn't have to worry about going to an organization that was going to develop us, right? Like for me, like I was a late bloomer, you were a late bloomer, right? And it was a little bit different 10 years ago. Like I got all the development I needed at Western Branch. It was year long, right? I needed somewhere that was going to put me out and show me in front of somebody. I was such a late bloomer. Like I played hard. I had no tools. right? I didn't stand out in these games, right? I mean, I was a good hitter, but I needed help, right? And I know we're with Five Star now, but I was with the Orioles with Lee Banks, right? He helped me get to the next level because he put me in the best places, gave me the best opportunities, right? And was on my side, right? So I'm forever grateful for that. But if you're a guy that you're playing at a crappy high, because there's a lot of crappy high schools around here, right? I know people don't want to hear that, right? But from what I hear and what I see, right, more than 50% of high schools, you need more than that, right? I don't care if you're a good player or not. If you're relying on your high school to help you, right, and you get no development, and you're not going to a hitting coach, and you have crappy practices with your high school year round, and then you just go to an organization where you're going to play, but you still need a lot of help. That's not the place. There's also organizations where they may not put you in the best spot now, right? They may not go to the best tournaments. They might not have the best team, but they develop. Right. There's a lot of organizations that still develop at 15, 16, 17, right? Which I like that. Right. But if you're developed and you're going there because you want development, but you're not getting showcase, that doesn't make any sense either, right? So a lot of it is based on you, like what do you need, right? Like I mean, I hate to say it, but like if you're 16, 17, 18 years old and you're playing these local tournaments, right? You're not doing it right, right? You've got to and you're ready, right? And that's more on the recruiting side, But talking about the exposure, you're right. Like if you're in that realm where me and you were, right? We're freshman, sophomore, we're good players. We made our high school teams. We're still small. We got a lot of work to do. We got good swings, good hands, whatever, right? You need to go to somewhere where you're going to play, right? You feel like gives you the amount of development that you need, right? Based on what your high school is and where your skill level is at right now. And then, right, you can always change it, but project the future as well. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I
I
just went on
mean,
a tangent there, but
there's a lot of high schools in this area that are college level as well too, though, right? I can say that.
yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, there's tons. Western Brown. I mean, every school that,
Cox, yeah,
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 Cox, First Colonial, Great Bridge. I mean, I can name a bunch of them. But also, I've seen the other side too, and
right,
it's like it's unfortunate when you see a really good player, right, and he's stuck at a school because where he lives. It's like you just have to put that into account, right?
yeah. And I'll bring this up as well. It's not as easy as what we're talking about here, right? Go to this team if you need this, go to that team if you need this. You got to make these teams, right?
Yeah.
If you're not skilled enough to make these teams that really get
Yeah.
exposed, you're
Yeah.
in a tough position. There are other ways to get exposed, right? You can go to camps, you can go to local colleges where other college coaches come. Don't
Mhm.
go to Virginia Tech, UVA when you can't make the local showcase team, right? Be realistic. I mean, I don't know about you, but I went to D3 camps around here. I went to mid-major D1s around here. I never went to a really high level college camp, right?
All right.
But there are high level college coaches there that will come and will show up.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's another way to get exposed. And I had the opportunity to get recruited after I already went through my college career. Right, I played 4 years at Roanoke, and then I had an extra year, and I wanted to see if I could go somewhere else. I sent probably 100 emails. I made a reel, a video, whatever you want to call it, of swings, of every type of video that I had of myself. And I wrote up a nice note. I put academics in there. I put all my accolades in there, right? You can do that as well. I mean, it's just like for sales, cold calling, right? You're not going to get but 1% of feedback,
All
right?
right.
But get yourself out there, email college coaches, get a video together, send that out, right? That's just more exposure that you can have for
All right.
yourself. And that ended up helping me. So,
Well, let's transition then because that's a perfect point, right? So you were part of the portal era, right? And now let's go to the recruiting. All right. So you're older, right? Maybe you've gotten some interest, like we had talked about earlier, emails, talking, high school coaches, showcase coaches, they've reached out, right? You're in that phase where, you know, and let me talk about this too, right? So I feel like you're either you're if just say let's just say Division One, right? Let's just use this as an example, right? 99% of Division One high school recruits, so maybe not 99%. Let me go back, maybe like 90% are to me in between fringe guys, right? If you're not an in between fringe Division One guy, you're committed pretty early, right? You're really not going into your junior, senior summer if you're a no doubt Division 1, unless you're picking between the big schools. Most of the time they don't allow you to do that. You got to commit, right? So most guys are fringe D1 guys, meaning that every single tournament, every single showcase matters, and they're watching you, and they're still not sure if you can compete at that level, right? So let's talk about those type of guys, right? It- what do they need to do if they've already been seen, if they've talked to colleges, if they're having frequent conversations, right? What do they need to do in a world where the transfer portal, where they can go get a guy like you, Radford can, at 22 years old? How many home runs did you hit at Roanoke? 20?
Double digits, yeah, 20.
So why would, even if it's a stud, it says it's just an all-around stud at high school, right? Why would they go get that guy when they can go get a 23-year-old that's hit 20 some home runs, that has been all conference, that has done it all at the college level? What people don't realize, and it kind of fires me up, it's like, yeah, you're a good player, but you don't realize what you're going against, right? What do they need to do to be able to get to not even a Division 1 college, just a college in general, with the portal acting like it is, and them going to get a guy at 22 years old that's hit 20 home runs? What can a high school kid do that's being recruited?
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher. Obviously, the college guy that has college experience has seen better pitching, better competition, and has proved himself at that level, right? So, what can you do? Obviously, if you're getting recruited, you have that good base level, right? You're a good kid, um, you play the game hard, and you have some tools that they like, right? But I still think, besides the development of honing in those skills that, I mean, you can talk to the college coach. What am I missing? What am I missing on the five power tools that I need, right? That's one thing. That's not the easiest way, right? I think honing in on that base level of grittiness and how you play the game can take you over the edge.
Agreed. And like, and again, I don't know much of the world now because I've kind of been out, but just from what I'm seeing, it's like I don't care if it's annoying or not. You like, if these coaches have actually shown interest in you, you got to show them like what you're doing, like what's your schedule, like what are you lifting? Like, I know some of my softball girls are way into it, and at first it was a little cringy, it seemed like, but now I understand it and I like it. It's like they're posting and they're tagging these colleges of their private hitting sessions, their lifting sessions, their whatever, their team practices, and you know whatever it takes, right?
Exposure. It's just more exposure, right?
Yeah, and you got to go to schools that are interested in you. Got to go to their camps, right? I know this was way back in the day, and that's the only reason I was able to get recruited. I was not even a fringe guy. I was a guy that knew a couple people, and I was gritty, and I played hard, and people liked how I played. But I had to go to a camp and go off, right? People don't realize that, like, especially at mid majors, it was like some crazy number of like 70+% of players that were on the roster had filtered through a camp or a prospect camp that Radford held, right? And I know it's like that with more.
Let me
Did you
stop you.
the
Yeah. You're gonna have to cut that out. Your picture went black.
Okay, could you still hear me?
Yeah, but you can cut
Well,
that
I was just I
and
was just
try
saying
and
the prospect
retrace.
camps,
All
the
right.
prospect camps are, you need to go there. If they're getting 70% of the players are that are in the program now have been through that camp, why would you not, right? So, um, there's a lot of things you have to keep performing. You have to keep your options open, your mind open, right? This D1 or bust thing is just, it's just ignorant nowadays, right? If you're thinking like that nowadays, people say, well, they're cocky, confident. I get all that, but you don't really know what's going on out there if that's your mindset now. And I know a lot of people who have been disappointed or stopped playing in general because of that, and it's a little ridiculous because everybody's path is different, right? So, but yeah, I mean, that's a good rant. There's a lot more we could go into. Before we go, though, I want to go over a couple of stats that I found in regards to just the showcase world, the high school world, and just me and you. I'll say it. You give your opinion, I give my opinion. We'll move on, and then we'll end this thing. All right. I know we've
All
gone
right.
over a little bit in time. All right. So only about 8 to 12% of high school baseball players go on to play at any college level. Nearly 90% do not continue after high school. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, that speaks for itself, right? And I would say, kind of like what we were going over, that what I've stuck to this whole video. Um, a lot of guys are similar in skill level, right? And it's hard to distinguish yourself if you're just solely going on skill. You have to separate yourself by, like you said, working hard. What's your schedule like? How are your grades? Are you disciplined, right? Are you going to work hard when you get here on campus day one? How do you play the game? Are you going to jump out of the way of the ball? Are you going to complain to an umpire? Are you going to blame the umpire that you struck out, right? That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 8 to 12%. That just blows my mind, honestly.
You're the math guy, and I'll just say one thing with this because some coach told me this one day, and we were all standing there. I forgot if it was high school or whatever. And they were like, "How many kids are on this team?" And I forgot how many it was, and he was like, two of y'all, or it might have been three, two or three of y'all will go play college ball."
I've
And we
heard
all kind
that.
of
Yeah.
looked at each other like, and those are the stats, right? That's all I got to say is like, and I guarantee you, on a decent high school team out of 15 players, there's 12 to 13 guys that are good players, right?
Right.
Overall.
Or
So,
or just focusing on, oh, I got more hits than him. Why is he getting recruited? Or I
yeah,
throw the ball 2 miles an hour harder. Why is he getting recruited?
you'll see
Don't
stats
compare
here that,
yourself. Don't
no,
worry about that. Yeah. Focus on
no.
your game, how you play the game.
All right, check this out. Less in 2025, less than 2% of high school baseball players reach Division I from high school. What do you guys say about that?
So the first stat was just college baseball in general,
Yeah.
and this is 1 to 2% of D1. I mean, that just reiterates your point of you're ignorant if you're D1 or bust, right?
Yeah. And that's and I don't want to say this because I know it's going to make some people mad, but like the kind of the new norm of the path is like D or JUCO, D2, D3 transfer. That I'm seeing it more and more, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
and like
I
when you were getting recruited or when you were in college, there was no D2, D3 in the picture, right? You went D3, you stayed D3, you were stuck. When I was getting
exactly.
recruited and I was talking to players at Roanoke, they were like, when you come here, you're stuck. You're staying
Yeah.
here. And I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
perfectly fine with that, but now you see more and more D3s going to Power Fives.
Yep. All right, so in a recent study, 85% of college coaches were asked this, and 85% of them said that high school stats do not matter to them. What do you have to say about
I
that?
love that. I love that. I mean, it's just exactly what I've been going off this whole time. Do not stress about your stats. Don't stress about your velo, all this stuff. I mean, it's good development tools, right? It's very good to be able to develop these skills and
Yeah.
and get ready to play and try to play freshman year of college. But that's obviously the coaches speak for itself. That's not the whole point of being recruited. It's how you play the game of baseball.
In a survey this past year, college baseball players were asked if they played showcase, and 90% of them were part of a showcase organization when they got drafted. So that tells me right there, is showcase everything? No, but 90% of people that played it are there, right? You got they want to watch you in the game, right? You got to do it, right? People complain it's a lot of money. They can do it. They're not paying attention to high school. Very little bit. I mean, I hate to say that. They're in their season. They may come and watch a guy pitch or a guy play a game. They're not doing it unless you're super high level high school or you've made it far. So you need to play showcase. Um, Digital platforms increase visibility, but do not replace development, in-person evaluation, or relationships with coaches. But it is trending in the direction of players that do have recruiting platforms are more likely to get picked up.
Yeah, use what you can. Use video. Have your parents record you. Record your individual lessons. Record your high school games. Right? It happened to me. I created a video, sent it out to all the college coaches, and I ended up getting recruited. Right? Sometimes they can't make it to your games. Give them a reason to come watch you play, or give them a reason to see you and go to them to their camps.
For sure. Since the portal has opened, what do you think? Which level has had the most players come out of high school? Division I, D3, D2, or JUCO?
JUCO.
Correct. We don't even have to say anything about that, right? So the guys that don't want to play JUCO, again, I hate talking about this because, I went to Division One, but I was definitely a JUCO guy, and like, with my skill level, and like I'll never throw shade at a guy that goes JUCO. In fact, those guys end up being better players in my opinion. Better,
Yeah,
just dogs.
yeah. I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything worked out for you, right? You went D1 and ended up getting an opportunity.
yeah.
But do you think that guys going to JUCO before is more beneficial than going to D1 and getting redshirted, getting 5 games the next year, and then finally getting an opportunity junior year?
I would say yes to that, but at the same time, too, nothing is guaranteed, right? So
Hmm.
like yeah, you could even you. I know a lot of guys that have had good years at JUCO and just not been recruited, just didn't work out, right? And for me, I was there, and I almost wasn't, but I was. So I was still going to try to do everything I could there to stay on the roster. I didn't feel like I was good enough to go down and go back up, so I was just holding on by a finger just to try to stay there, and it worked out. But yes, if bet on yourself, and if you're a good player, it will work out. But so. Coaches often prioritize transfers and experienced players, making early development and visibility even more important. That's a pretty common thing, right? I mean, I think the developmental player coming out of high school is kind of going down. I'm not saying it's completely out, but just, these coaches got to compete now. They don't have time. They don't have 4 or 5 years like they used to. Um, let's see, what's another good one? Uh, so most recruiting commitments come after not just one, not just two, but multiple viewings and encounters with lots of communication. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, we covered that. Like I said, I've had coaches follow me for years, right? One game is not going to make or break you, right? So don't throw an attitude. Don't get upset, right? Baseball is a game of process. Recruiting is a game of process, right? So expose yourself, whether that's digitally, getting on a showcase team, or going to camps. Do as much as you can.
One story, quick story. I played with a guy. His name was Will Malbin. VMI would come out and watch him and I don't know if you know the story, but every single weekend, every single game. And I was talking to Will one time, and I was like, dude, what else do they need to see? Like, you've done good, you've done bad, you got tools, you're a good player, they like you, they've told you. And I remember Banks said, just remember now, I know it seems that way, but their job is on the line, their family income, um, everything is on the line. So, now it spoils you a little bit because everybody, it's a madhouse. But back even when we played, it was like they wanted to not just get to know your baseball. They wanted to get to know you and your skill. And like those are the days where they would come, 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 come. And you're like, are they watching me or watching somebody? I mean, like, when are they going to make a move? And then, they would do it. And it's like, you take that for granted nowadays. And that's why there's a lot of swing and misses too, right? You can't get the best of both worlds and just expect to just go get 15 new players and they all pan out. It doesn't work out like that. So I wish some of that would come back. It's still there, but I wish some of that would come back. But
Yeah,
um,
I would say it's still there. And when they do see somebody they like, I truly believe that the next step is, how does this guy handle failure? Because baseball is a game of failure.
yeah.
So they kind of want to see you fail.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, then last thing I wrote on here is exposure creates opportunity. And recruitment comes when you're ready to display your college talent. So obviously we talked about exposure first, recruitment second. At the end of the day, you have to go day by day, do everything right. You have to, it's not just about all development, and it's not just all about playing games. Like, you have to be able to find that middle ground. You have to know and plan out what you need, right? And you have to stick to a plan. You have to get with people that know what they're doing, right? You have to get with the right team. You have to get with the right coaches, right? And you just have to be a good person, right? And that's it, right? And you have to be open and realistic, right? You have to know that, you're not this player and you're also not this player, right? You can't be too down on yourself. You can't be too up on yourself, right? You have to know where you're at currently and you need people to tell you the truth. So yeah, that's all I got. Got
Yeah.
anything to
Yep.
close?
Like you said, it's a madhouse, right? Um, just stick to the base level, stick to the little things, and trust the process. It is a process, right?